Hello friends, this is Sherry. How you doing? I am continuing work on my coffee journal today. So I left you where we were putting on this paper, so I did not do anything without you. So these corners are squared off, so we cut this paper to fit before my last video ended. So I'm going to go on from there, and I'm going to attach this, and I just want to make sure it's the right size here, and then go on from there. But I think it is right exactly where I need it. So I just don't want it to be too big, you know, where it sticks out over the edge, or too short. So I think it's good. I think it's good. I think once I get it down, you won't even know it's we replaced the paper. So if this is the first video you're seeing on this kind of series, I guess it's a new series that I started on making this coffee journal, the last one, you want to see why I have this mess here. Look at my last video, watch that one, the first one, and then watch this one, or watch this one and then watch that one, whatever. It doesn't matter what order you watch them in, because, you know, it really doesn't matter, I don't think. But unless you're making a journal and you need to see what I did here. But yeah, I'm just gonna go on with this today and see if we can finish this cover. Taking longer than I thought, but we are saving this cover this way because it was damaged when I got it. And I think this glue needs to go right up to where the little, where this Fabri-Tac folds. You know what, guys? I've always heard people talking about the smell of Fabri-Tac, and I have never gotten a stinky or smelly Fabri-Tac before. This is the first one. Like, this is the very first one. Like, I'm always like, what are they talking about? It doesn't smell. Is something wrong with my sense, you know, that I can't smell or something, the Fabri-Tac? And I have to say that this one is smelly. So there are, I don't know if they come from different places. It's all Fabri-Tac, vegan Fabri-Tac, but this one is smelly. I've never had a smelly one before, but it's kind of so smelly that I can taste it. You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys that have had smelly ones have had that sensation, but it's so smelly that I can like taste it in my mouth. Is that weird? So I'm like, I need to go, you know, I need to go turn on my fan and open the door and let some air in here, probably use this in a ventilated area. So I might do that in just a second, because I feel like, gosh, this is not good to use this in an enclosed area. If it's so smelly that you are tasting it, you know what I mean? So let me put my lid on here and pause for a second. I'll be right back. All right, so I opened my door. So if you hear any noise, I kind of had to close. Like, my husband's outside working, so that's why I had it closed. I mean, my husband's here, so that's why I had it closed, but he's outside working. So I figured, you know, I figured he might come in, is what I thought. And then you're going to hear some noise. So if you hear noise, it's probably him coming in. But, because the back door has he'll be coming in the back door, and it has a storm door on it. You know, a storm door and a door. So the storm door kind of lets it slam when he comes in. It's kind of noisy, but that's okay. It's just a door. Just a door opening and closing. So I'm just smashing this all down. I always forget to bring my credit card, or this is actually a Michael's gift card that someone gave me. And that is used up, but I always forget to bring a card over here to do this with. So I remembered today for the video that I might need this, because I was doing this. And I want to get it all nice and smashed down so the glue is adhering here. So let me see how this looks. Looks good. Looks good. Looks good. Yeah, it all looks good. Okay, now let me see about this over here. I think I need to put some glue right under here. I put my lid on my Fabri-Tac. I was like, I do not want to smell that anymore, that I have to. I can't believe it, because I thought, I don't know, I figured that they were getting some other kind of version of Fabri-Tac that I wasn't getting. I just always thought that, because mine never smelled. And maybe because it's, you know, wherever the Walmart here in North Carolina where I live, wherever they get their Fabri-Tac maybe came from a different factory. But now I think that this Walmart has gotten their Fabri-Tac from the smelly factory that makes the smelly Fabri-Tac. Whew! Yeah, I'm glad I opened my door. I got my ceiling fan on to air out this room. that was brutal. Now I know. I can sympathize with and empathize with you guys now. Oh my goodness, that was crazy. Okay, so I see everything is good. Everything is good. I'm just smashing down my masking or my duct tape here, which my fabric will also make that tight. But see, here we go. So now I think, let's see, I'm trying to decide whether to put, let me show you the card I found. I found a card when I was going through my craft room. And I was kind of keeping my eye out for something to be a central picture here, or something, you know, a focal point on the front here. So I've got my old bottle of Fabri-Tac there, turned upside down, draining. But I found this card and I was like, oh my goodness. I have a little recipe. I was looking through my recipes for coffee things too, my cookbook stuff. I have that all organized, and so I found these in with my recipe cards. There's this card and a recipe card and a little envelope set that it's like a recipe card set. This card was in there. I think I'm going to cut this out, but this is going to be the focal point. But I found this paper here that can go under this. It's like the same color as this little, it almost looks like a little trim here around the card. It's the same color, and I thought that would be a good kind of little layering, possibly, piece under the card. I was going to use the whole card, but it's a little bit bigger than I want here, I think. Once I get my fabric on here, I think I'm going to put my fabric on first, and then this piece. And so my fabric, I showed you my fabric the other day, and I was like, I don't know if it's going to go, but it does go, because this cup has bluish in it, and even the flowers have some blue, and this is blue. See, so I think it will all come together very pretty, have lots of color, of course, but still. So once I cut this down, see how if I layer this, it'll just be a little bit of go for a little bit of a border around this. But so it'll end up being, once I cut this down, it'll be like what this white is. It'll be that kind of border with this. So it will really kind of end up being the same size as this card. So it'll end up being going like right there in the center with this as a border. So you'll have that color, you'll have the card, and I'll have the fabric. Now I might want some trim on there too to also bring it all together. So yeah, I think I need to do my fabric and my trim and then see what room I have left, you know what I mean? So I can put this, I don't have to put it too far over, but I can put it like that, about an inch over. I want it to be on here at least an inch, and then I'll have a little room for some trim, like some gimp or some rickrack, and then we'll work on the picture. So I think that's what we need to do in that order, so that we don't put the picture on there and then be like, oh, it's, you know, I don't have any room for my fabric or my trim. And I want to probably put trim just to make this a nice smooth kind of edge to bring the fabric together with the cover and all that. So this is not, I tore this edge over here, so this is nice and straight, but this edge, oh, what did I do? I think I didn't know if it was going to tear, and I started cutting, and I said, well, let me see if it tears, and it tore nice and evenly. But I actually don't need this piece up here, so I think I'm going to cut that off. I'm going to do, I'm not going to wrap it around, like sometimes you can put your fabric on and then wrap it, because the inside graphics will be upside down. So I'm going to do two separate pieces. So I'm going to, let's see, let me think about this for a second. Yeah, I'm going to do the outside first, and then then you'll see how we do the inside. So let's go ahead. I want this, we're doing the outside first, but I want this coffee cup right here, or this coffee pot right here on the outside. So I need to leave a little bit here so I can wrap it on the inside. It's going to be like right here, right at the bottom like this. And then I need to leave about 1 inch on the top to wrap around to the inside. So I'm going to cut a little cut right here, about 1 inch. Yeah, that's too much. About right there. This fabric tears nicely both ways, so I'm going to tear it like that. Pull off my, well, of course it didn't tear as nicely as it did off camera. It didn't do this on, I had like one fray I had to pull off, one string I had to pull off when I did it off camera, but whatever. We're going with the flow here. So it's a little wide. It's a little wider than I think I need here. So, because I want it to be, let me measure. I want it to be over, like I said, about 1 inch or less. So about like that here. And then, see, it's going way over here on the back. I don't need it to go that far over on the back, but I do need it to go over far enough. So about right past the black part of the spine, but not way over past that. So I think I'm going to, you know what? Let me think for a second. So I don't want to tear off this coffee cup at all. This coffee pot. So I think I need to start here. Keep the coffee cup. I keep saying coffee cup, I mean coffee pot. But so the coffee pot will be like this. I think I need to tear. If I'm going to tear any, I'm going to need to tear it or shorten it. I need to shorten it here. So let me just think for a second how that looks. I mean, because I could leave this on the back. It just looks like it's going over so far. Let me see. So about like that. Maybe like that. I guess I could leave it. How far is it? It's coming pretty far over the black part, but you know what? I think I'm just going to tear off a little bit here. See this white strip here? I think I'm going to tear that off here. I'll make a little slit there and tear that off. See if that will tear off for me nicely. Yeah, I think we got it. All right, some strings. See, that's normal. The other thing wasn't normal. Okay, so now I didn't get quite all of the white, did I? But that's okay. All right, so about 1 inch over now. Wrap it around. So we just go through all this back and forth when we do a cover, don't we? Gotta have it right. Now I like that. It's going over that much less, but I think it's good. And we have our whole coffee pot here, and I think we are good. Okay, so we're gonna glue this down, and the length is good too, because we already measured that. So let me get my old Fabri-Tac out here. Maybe we'll see if we can use some of that up. And this one's not stinky, so let's see how weird. Let me see. Is there a difference in the bottle? Same bottle. Exactly the same. This one doesn't smell at all. I'm just wondering for the general junk journal public out there if you can tell the difference before you buy it, you know what I mean? So okay, gonna make sure this is going up. Here's the top right here, so this is going this way. So we're gonna go ahead and put glue all over the black part here, and then I'll go from there. Let's see if I can get any glue out of this old one here. There's some in there, I just didn't want to mess with it on video, and if it doesn't come out, we won't torture ourselves. We'll just use the stinky one, but let's see if we can get any out of here. This is the non-stinky one, so. Ooh, somebody let the doggy in. Okay, there's my back door. Hear that? That's our son's dog that we're watching, Jazzy. You hear the little pitter-patter of doggy paws. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and put this piece down a little bit here, so that sometimes I just do a little bit of it at a time, so my glue doesn't dry, but it makes it a little difficult because I got to measure here. Let's see, so I want the whole coffee pot on here, the bottom, and I have part to go over the top and the bottom. So let me move it over like that. Have an inch here over the front. So about right there. So that should be good. Okay. Let's see. I can still pick it up if I have to. So let me just see if that's good. I think that's good. That's about what I wanted. So we got some on the top and the bottom. Got the whole coffee pot on. Let me see. Oops. Nope. Pull it up a tiny bit here while we can. My coffee cup was going over the bottom there. This coffee cup right here. All right, there we go. Now we're good. Okay, so we got that back part right here. We put glue on this whole part where the black is. Sorry if I'm talking quiet. I'm kind of like, I want to get this right, so kind of talking and thinking a little bit. So I guess I am leaving this back. I wasn't sure, but I don't mind that it's different because it's the original cover, and so it's why waste it, just to make it the same. It's kind of like makes it more junk journaly too, because you covered the part that was damaged but left the part that wasn't damaged, right? That's what junk journaling is kind of all about. Using, recycling, fixing things, repurposing things. Okay, let me make sure that's all. Okay, so I got that part down. That's all of the, well, you know what? Yep. Actually, it didn't even matter which way it went, did it? Well, yeah, it did, because this has to be this is on the front, but I could have turned it around. Technically, I could have turned this around and used this as the front if I wanted to. Just FYI, because, either way, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Because the spine's covered. Doesn't matter which way that goes, right? So, just a thought. Just a thought in case you're doing this. You don't have to. And the front cover's damaged, you could make it into the back cover. Just thought of that little information, little tip. Okay, this is just about empty, I guess. I hear air. I think we used it up. I'll let it drain a little bit more, but I think we might have used that up finally. Thank goodness. I can get rid of that. I have it upside down in my pencil jar there. Okay, so now my other stinky Fabri-Tac. Oh boy. Guess I'll just have to be quick with this. Just kind of hard to believe there's such a difference, right? All right, I'll get lots of glue under there. This fabric is kind of like thick. It's not really, I wouldn't call it upholstery, but it could be. It could be upholstery or like curtain fabric. I don't know. It was kind of like, the piece I took it from was kind of like a tablecloth. So I guess it could be tablecloth. Those are thick fabrics sometimes. It was small though, so that's why it's a little confusing. But it wasn't just fabric. It was made into something. And it looked like a small tablecloth. That's what it looked like. It didn't look like a curtain. It didn't have any kind of curtain things that you would hang unless you're going to hang them with hooks or something. Hang it with hooks. But yeah, I found it at a thrift store. And I just thought it would be, I mean, I didn't know really if I would sell it in my shop as is, but when I saw it, I don't think I even showed it on a Thrifty Thursday yet. I just had it to show for Thrifty Thursday, and then it had the coffee on it, the coffee pot, and I was like, okay, this is the fabric. This is some fabric I can use. Doesn't seem to be flowing so well. I don't know what's going on. This stinky Fabri-Tac. I'm gonna have to poke something down in there later and see if it's it's making me cough. I'm probably allergic to it. Whew, take a deep breath. Breathe after that. Get some fresh air. I put the lid on, so oh my word, that's terrible. Okay. Sometimes I don't know whether to bend it or not bend it. Let it dry and then bend it. I'm going to let it dry. I think you're supposed to let it dry first. Okay, I'm going to glue these down, and then we're going to try to get the inside feet piece done. I really wanted to get the picture on the front too, but it's just taking longer than I thought it would. I don't think I'm working that slow, am I? Maybe I am. But okay, so I'm putting the glue on here because I don't want to put it on the book and then put it in the wrong place, you know what I mean, on the cover here. So I figured just put it on the fabric and then you won't get glue where you don't want it. So the plan is to glue these two ends down. I'll get them into the corners here, into little grooves. Get it in the grooves. And then the other piece that goes inside is going to go over this, so it'll cover up these rough edges of these two end pieces. This is really not wanting to come out. It's so weird. Like two hands. Usually a new bottle flows nicely. Nicer than this one anyway. Maybe the next batch that they get, and you know how I said there's only one bottle left at Walmart of this Fabri-Tac, maybe the next batch won't be smelly. I hope not. I opened this the other day and I thought it was smelly, and then I wasn't sure. I was like, I think that one's smelly. I never smelled Fabri-Tac before. And then I opened it today, like just now on the video, and I was like, oh my goodness, this really is smelly. Especially maybe I noticed it more since my door was closed. I just started filling up the room with that terrible chemical smell. Okay. Okay, no more talking about the smelly Fabri-Tac, right? Like, that's enough of that. Okay. I want this nice and tight up here at the top. Especially the bottom too, but you know, you kind of like, if you set it down somewhere, you're going to see the top more than you see the bottom. But the bottom is nice and tight too. It's thick because we got all that cardboard in there and the tape. But look, it's pretty, right? Okay, so now this piece, I'm going to have to measure. Let's see what we want on here, what we don't want on here. Get the strings off. So yeah, I'll put some trim inside too. I mean, you don't have to put trim on if you like. I like the, I actually like the frayed edges. So sometimes I leave them and sometimes I put trim on. Just depends on what, you know, I'm doing. So, let's see. I mean, that's perfect. It's covering up everything I want to cover up here. So let's see. I could move it up because see how this is partial? I could move it up like this. Here's a string. And then we'll have a nice, the picture in here, even though this will be covered up with the signatures. So I guess it doesn't really matter, but just for the heck of it, I'm going to make it nice for right now anyway, while we're looking at it. So I'm going to cut an even piece here, right at the top. And tear that. Okay. Take off our strings. All of our strings. the strings here, see? Where did those come from? Were they there 2 seconds ago? It seemed like it there. They didn't seem like it, but now all of a sudden there's some strings. Okay. So let's see if we can get this glued down before I have to stop the video. All right, so yeah, that's all nice and glued down there. This is all nice and glued down. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see how I want to do this. Let's start at the top and go down. That way the top will be, if I have to cut any off, like if it actually ends up being too long, I can cut it off the bottom instead of the top. Get a lot on here so it's all nice and smooth. And I'll just glue a little bit at a time as we go down to the bottom. I want this all nice and flat right here at the top. So let's do it. Let's see, this is the front over here, so I'm going to make this even. It's going over a little bit over here, but that's okay. I want this front piece here though even. There's going to be trim there anyway, but I don't know, that's just what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. This is the inside of the spine. This is all the back cover. It's going over quite a bit, but that's okay. We'll see what we do with that. All right. And some more and go down, 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 all the way. Let's see if we can finish here. Maybe we can start on the card for the front focal point. That's a lot to glue down. Were you guys saying the same thing? That's a lot to glue down, Sherry. I heard you. If you've said that, you have to put that in the comments. Because I just felt like you were saying that to me. That's a lot to glue down. All of that, you're going to do it one time? What if your glue dries? Yeah, I'm going for it. But if you said that, you will have to put that in the comments and let me know. Because I felt it. I felt it. I got your vibes. Wish me luck, right? Come on. Root for me. Let's do it before it dries. Okay, we're going for it. It's just I have like 2-3 minutes left here, so I'm like, okay, Sherry, you gotta get this done. Ooh, it's perfect. Perfect length. Perfect length. Put it right down to the bottom here. And then stretching it a little bit so it's all nice and flat. Flatten it out. Now I'm going to get it in the grooves. Let's use my little card here. How about that? Will that work? Feel the groove right there. All right, so we should let that dry. We shouldn't bend it yet. I'm always dying to bend it and see what it looks like, but really, I think you're not supposed to. So let's work on this for a minute. I think I'm going to use, it's kind of scary, but I wanted to maybe use my, I only have 3 of these cards. 3. So I don't want to ruin this one. So I'm going to go ahead and cut right here with these scissors, and then see how it looks, and then go from there as to whether I want to use my edging scissors. I just thought it would be neat to use it, some fun edging scissors there around the edge. But I don't, like I said, I don't want to do it and then be sorry that I did that. So I'm going to cut this smooth and then see if I would still want to use the edging scissors. And I'm going to cut a piece of that other scrap of paper I showed you to go under this as a frame or a backdrop. Try not to cut the little trim off there. Okay, see? That's pretty, right? Without that white trim. I'll save this for a journal card or something. So yeah, oh, it looks pretty without anything behind it, but I think it'll look even prettier. See how pretty that looks? Oh my goodness, this is going to be gorgeous. Okay, so this has got a light edge, so I don't want to go like right up to the edge like, oh, maybe I do. I think I'm going to try the dark edge, darkest pieces first. So I'm going to cut a piece like over here. And so about right there. And I think I'm going to have to end, like I'm not going to be able to finish this part, so this will be to be continued. So I will see you in my next video, and I hope you enjoyed this part 1 and part 2 of working on this cover. Sorry it's taken so long, but sometimes, you know, there's more, we had more work with this, so I'm going to let you go. Thanks for watching, and happy crafting.